Hey everyone, thanks for joining me again at What If Factory. I'm Steve Robbins, the crazy Asian guy. And today we're diving into the brain to see why it does certain things, some good, some bad. Since I'm going to have you exercise your brain, we need to do a little warm-up so you don't pull a neuron. We'll begin with something very basic to stretch our minds, a simple math problem. And it's not just because I'm Asian. Those of you who find math a little frightening need not worry. It's just simple addition. No decimals, no fractions, all rounded numbers. I'm going to give you a series of numbers to add up. Add them up silently in your head. No need to write them down. Just add them up silently. And when I ask you to, call out the answer. Yell it out for everyone around you to hear how smart you are. Okay, let's start. Begin with the number 1,000. Put that in your head. To that 1,000, add 40. Add another 1,000. Add 30. Add another 1,000. Add 20. Add another 1,000. Add 10. What's your answer? Did you come up with 5,000? Great! That tells me your brain is working. Let's just see if your brain was working correctly. Before I had you add 10, you arrived at 4,090, correct? Well, what's 4,090 plus 10? Well, 0 plus 0 is 0. 9 plus 1 is 10. Carry the 1 over, carry the 4 down. That's 4,100. You all suck at math. No! Why did you get this wrong? Is this a complex math problem? Apparently, for some of you, it is.
And there is a problem on the board right now that took us more than 2 years to prove.
Let's see how you got this wrong. And once we figure out how you did so poorly, we're going to discover one of the underlying reasons why bad decisions and biased judgments easily invade our day. Before you go beating yourself up too badly, though, just know that most people mangle that math problem in the same way you did, regardless of whether you're actually poor at math or are aerospace engineers. Your inability to arrive at the correct answer illustrates something about your brain. See, your brain loves patterns. Why does your brain have a love affair with patterns? In part because your brain hates uncertainty. Your brain translates uncertainty into danger. Patterns allow your brain to make some sense, whether right or wrong, of the things it encounters, thereby reducing uncertainty and the perception of danger. Put it this way, your brain is a pattern recognition machine, and it craves patterns so much it will find a pattern where a pattern doesn't exist. In this case, the wrong answer of 5,000. In other cases, it leads to wrong conclusions about people and ideas. Now take the word pattern and put the word people in front of it, and what you have is people pattern. See, your brain will use very little information to create a people pattern. In other words, it profiles. Yes, whether you know it or not, we are all profilers because of how our brains function. We continuously gather information about things we encounter to create profiles. We then use those stored profiles to try to quickly understand, interpret, and predict. All of us have many profiles in our heads. We have profiles of what a religious person is like or should be like. We have profiles of young people and old people, what they know and what they don't know. We have profiles of what a leader is and what attributes a leader should have. For example, many of us, mainly of the XY chromosome persuasion, i.e. men, we were told that emotions are a sign of weakness. In many ways, we men were taught that we are not to show our emotions unless there's a ball around. You know, a football, basketball, baseball, soccer ball, then we can show our emotions. When there's a ball around, we can laugh and cry, we can hug, we can pat each other on the rears. You take a ball away and that's a no-no. What if our profile of a leader includes the word emotionless? Now imagine we also have a profile of women that we picked up that says they're raging volcanoes of emotion, unpredictable and ready to explode. What if both of those profiles exist in our head? One that says leaders don't show their emotions, another that says women can't control their emotions. If by some chance that were true, could that lead us not to think of women in general as leaders? And if we don't think of them as leaders, why would we give them opportunities to become one? Could this be a contributing factor that leads to this statistic? That still today, more than 95% of Fortune 500 CEOs are men. Profiles can help us make good decisions when they contain a lot of varied information, and we utilize that information mindfully. Profiles can also hurt us in decision-making when we mindlessly profile in limited and narrow ways. So, let's see what we learned today at What If Factory. First, we learned that you all suck at math. No, we learned that your brain loves patterns, and it will sometimes find patterns where patterns don't exist. Second, we learned that our brains will formulate patterns about people. In other words, we found out our brain's profile very naturally. Lastly, we learned that profiling, if not done mindfully, can lead to potentially poor judgments about what a person can or can't be. Thoughtless, narrow profiling can limit and exclude people who have great potential. Well, that's it for today at What If Factory. Take what you learned about your brain, patterns, and profiling and use it for good, not evil. I'm Steve Robbins, the Crazy Asian Guy, reminding you to be less certain and be more curious. Until next time, see ya!